What is up, guys? Back at it again in the Alpha Pack shop. This is Patrick with Alpha Pack Off Road. Uh, just did a video for the Honda build, and I figured might as well throw one in here for the Ranger because I've made a lot of progress on this since the last update. The last I posted for this was the the engine being rebuilt and complaining, about how you have to go through the bottom end of the motor to do pistons. So, and y'all saw where we were at then. Well, she is back together, and spark plugs are in her. Got it all back together. Everything's torqued to spec. Got the timing chain tensioner in there. That's new. That's, I think, the Tusk chain tensioner, automatic. Got the stator cover back on. So for you guys with these older, like when I say older, I say the later model 900s, which would be around a 2016, maybe even the 2015s. I know the 2012s because I watched Partzilla's video on this rebuild, because that seems to be the only 900 engine rebuild that is on YouTube. Was watching that build, and yeah, there were some differences and some similarities to the motors. They looked identical, but I did notice there was different seals, and then he upgraded the seals to what this one had and whatnot. But where he, on that video, did the timing, it was he said where the case meets, which is down underneath here. Well, for these later models, here's your sensor right here. And right in here, when you remove this, that is where, so right here where this is lined up, this line right here, and down to here, is where you line your timing markers, the dash, not the V, okay? So you want to be top dead center of the driver's side piston, which is this one here, where the oil cap would go, away from the timing chains, away from here. So I actually at first had it a couple teeth off. I thought I was on, but apparently not. I triple checked. Always double check everything on these. This is my first ever Ranger 900 motor rebuild. So everything's spinning over as it should, as far as with a wrench or a ratchet. I am planning on getting some seal here, or a new part for the CVT box, the backing, to, I don't know, I think it was something, Black Rhino makes one, Warrior or something, Warranty Killer Performance, I believe, makes a kit that you can remove that seal and place their seal in there to where you don't have to crack the case. But just when I was in here, I just noticed this seal goes all the way up to this lip back here. So it would be a pain in the ass to even get out of there with the cases, sealed up right now. I'm not going that route, but I might get that Black Rhino piece to where I can at least protect that seal. And because on here, we'll come right here real quick. Here would be, right here, I believe it is. Yeah, that goes to the front. So, this one here has this like squishy kind of seal or whatever the hell that thing is. I don't even see what the hell that thing does. But it basically fills the gap between here and the engine case, and it's by that seal. So, I think that Rhino thing, fills up in here, and it also kind of keeps it from getting, mud, dirt, belt debris, whatever is in your belt box into that seal that's on the crank seal. So I'm going to go ahead and order one of those. And I have the other seal for this, which is still on the transmission, I believe. That's what this one is right here. And that goes in there or whatnot. I guess you just silicone it up and it should seal it, I guess. I'm not sure. Like I said, this is my first one I've ever had to tear into this far. And You know, I figure it out as we go, or, you know, I do a lot of research too. I don't just, you know, do this stuff and just not know anything. So, but before we throw the engine back into here, I am going to clean up all underneath it, make that all clean. And then these seals right here on these axles need to be swapped out. This will be the second time I have swapped these, but look how much wiggle this has. You know, I wouldn't think, you know, I know there's like it just goes into a cup in there, but I mean, that's a lot of wiggling. And I'm sure it's the cup actually, and not just the axle wallowing around. This one does it also, watch. I mean, is that normal? Please let me know. I'd love to know. Some of you Ranger guys, some of you Polaris guys who dick with Rangers all the time. I don't know. Do y'all always have to replace your rear seals on your CV axle seals on your transmissions? If so, I'd love to know. And if that's not right, then let me know also. So maybe I need to... I mean, this was rebuilt once, I believe. I mean, there's different gasket maker on it, so I'm assuming, like I said, this was a not repoed, but insurance, you know, I think totaled it. It was probably sunk, and then it was rebuilt, and then bought by somebody else, and then I bought it from them. So, but I've never had any transmission issues as far as like it not shifting or doing what it's supposed to. So, you know, we're just gonna keep going with it, and I'm gonna put them new seals in there before the engine goes in, so I have more room to work. Then we're gonna set the engine back into it, and pray to God, this right here is a alignment tool by STV I got from them. I wasn't going and buying whatever hell Polaris has. It's just expensive. So you gotta align the clutch, the transmission, and the motor. And I mean, I haven't really found much on that either. So maybe somebody could help me out, point me in the right direction on what I need to do as far as for aligning the motor and transmission together so I don't do anything wrong or mess anything up. And then, so there's the axle, the CV seals, this exhaust seal, and I got some of this here for the motor break-in. Hopefully that'll be, you know, something okay to put in there. And then I was told Rotella T4 for the initial break-in. Then swap to T6. That's what I use in my Can-Am also, the Rotella T6. Seems to work really good. So I've got a lot of oil filters for a lot of oil changes. One of the new ones is already on there. Then I have 3 more. So if I got to change, you know, I don't want this motor messing up whatsoever. So I'm going to change it after a couple hours of use, and then a couple miles of use, and then pretty frequently. So I just want this to be done right the first time and not have to go through this process again. It is not fun whatsoever. But, you know, this thing's come a long way. I know long while back I did the front diff. So it's got the 1000 front diff in it. Super ATV Rhino axles, new bearings, new brakes, new bushings, new ball joints, new heim joints for the tie rods. I mean, you name it, it's done. I put new rear bearings, new bearings in the rears, new brakes, race driven all the way, baby. That's what you got to get. They last a good long time. I built my own windshield, rear windshield, out of some plexiglass that I had from work, or where I used to work. So bolts from work. I mean, put little cushions around all the edges. Some little holes here and there for air to escape. Came out very well. I put some spacers in there to space it out between the bar here and where that bolt hole is, so I could bolt it in the center. And I could possibly do it to the outside corners too, but I mean, that sucker's not going anywhere. I know that. The front windshield is bolted up here. And then I left the little bottom part to kind of get the wind to go up over it. I did have a little bit of an issue because I cut it a little too short. So I had to re-drill and drop it down a little bit, because when I first took it out, this sucker here was literally like going up under here, underneath there, and blowing all the air and stuff that way. And I don't want that. I want this sucker to be up over it, overlapping a little bit. That way, you know, that way it'll kick that air up and over the machine, hopefully, with that roof. Which I had to take the roof off also and redo all the wiring for the radio and, you know, do everything for that. And I had to fix some cracks and whatnot in there on this back edge here, right here for the roof. Came out all right. I wasn't going to re-fiberglass it. I didn't want to go that far with it, so I filled it with expanding foam and then rubber coated over it and then rhino lined on top of that. So, yep, while it was down too, I went ahead and readjusted these doors. These are such a pain in the ass. All these damn doors. Now they open really, really nicely, smooth. I had to space them up with some washers. Roger. Probably should have put some up there too, but whatever. And yeah, man, I can't wait to ride this thing again. It's very helpful at the hunting camp. Need to put my rear view mirror back up, which for some reason when I got it was like a car rear view. I've got all the LEDs. I went ahead and did all that also. So it's got the rock lights all up under it. Boom. And these things are really nice. And I think I'm going to go ahead. I think they only lifted the front of this thing. There's a bracket lift here, right here. Probably by a high lifter. It's probably like a 2 or 3 inch. And the rear does not have it for some reason. I believe on these you can mount the shock here or on the outer. I believe, yeah, the rear is cranked all the way up, but when you get on it, when it was working, it would squat really bad in the back. And especially if you had anything in the bed. So I'm probably going to look into a bracket lift for the rear to match the front. I don't think they lifted it. And or I will put a spring spacer here in between here and here. Disassemble the shock and do a spring spacer there to give me a little extra height and not as soft of a ride. It's cranked all the way up, so I mean it could definitely use a little stiffness in the rear. But just wanted to give y'all an update on the Ranger build. This is my 2016 Ranger 900 XP High Lifter Edition. Also added the Slim's Milk, I think it is, side mirrors. I like those. They definitely come in handy. And they make it look pretty good, I think. So this thing's been nothing but a project. Also put a Jeep bumper on the back. One of the Wrangler bumpers. From Warren. I think it's made by Warren. But that'll all be on here after we're all fixed up, ready to go, and back running. So, like I said before, if any of y'all can help me with the aligning of the engine and transmission, I would surely appreciate it. Like, you have no idea. So, if you could comment below and either point me in the correct direction of what I need to watch or look into, or what your experience has been with this, I would really appreciate that. And yeah, well guys, look, that's about all I can show you right now with this till I get moving on it and get the engine back in it. But till next time, this is Patrick at Alpha Pack Off-Road saying check you later. Please hit that like, subscribe, and share. Hit that bell so you can get notifications on builds that were coming up and also on the progress of the builds we're currently doing. Till next time, guys, y'all take it easy.